Hey guys, this is Sebastian bringing you 5 easy tips for playing better poker for RakebackDollars.com. Okay, the first tip we're going to look at is very simple but often overlooked, and that's simply avoid distractions. So many guys I talk to, very good players, even better players than I speak to them and they got their TVs on, they've got, their phones right there, they're instant messaging, they're browsing the internet, they're, posting hands and trying to do analysis. That's very minus EV. Again, with the games today, you really have to be on top of your game and really have to be focusing if you want to play your best. And when you've got all these other outside distractions, it really leads to autopiloting, and you want all your focus concentrated on the poker, and you don't want anything taking away that focus. So let's look at some things that we can do. First, don't have the TV on. If it's in the background, it's just going to distract you. If there's something on you want to watch, either tape it or watch it. Don't do both. Don't IM your friends or look at your messenger at Skype. I know even I'm guilty of doing this. Again, I'm getting messaged by people. If it's going to be a problem, just shut it down. If not, if you see a message, you can maybe quick take a look at it, don't respond unless it's super urgent, and go from there. Same thing with answering your phone or replying to text. If you have to make a quick or simple text or something like that, as in busy, call you later, something like that, that's fine. But if it's something that you really need to speak with somebody or something important, just sit out of your tables while you're making your while you're playing, and then get back to them. Don't be browsing the internet. Separate yourselves from roommates and make it clear that when you're playing poker, you're working and not to be disturbed. Again, this is another clear one. A lot of the time people, and it's not their fault, people who aren't players, who don't understand, maybe they don't realize that you need to be completely focused, or it's not just a game and that you're, playing and taking it seriously and need your focus. So just, be clear with your roommates or whoever, your wife or whoever you live with that may distract you. If you listen to music when you play, be conscious of the music that you're listening to and how it affects your mood and temperament. If you're listening to really fast-paced, maybe techno or heavier music or things like that, it may lead to over-aggression. It may lead to over-aggression or overplaying or, playing fast and loose. Conversely, if you're listening to very laid-back or relaxing music, it may lead to playing too passively. So, not necessarily, but just something to be conscious of. Okay, tip number 2. Another very easy tip. Play less tables. Unless you're beating the game at a good clip over a large hand sample, I feel that more than 6 tables, possibly 8 to 9 if playing full ring, takes away too much focus from each decision and leads to autopiloting. Even if you are a good player who's beating the games and whatnot, again, playing 6 tables really allows you to focus on the action, and really it's going to help you with your reads and to be able to follow the action. Again, if you're playing more than 6 tables, you've have a proven track record and you're winning at a good clip, well, who am I to say that you shouldn't be? But if you're struggling with your game or you're looking to improve and, you play a lot of tables, maybe this is an easy way to do it. If you're even a marginal winner massed multi-tabling, in the short run, it may make you less money, but in the long run, it'll make your game much better, which will lead to more profit. So let's say you're 12 tabling and you're making, 1 PTBB or so per 100, and then playing 6 tables, you're making 2 PTBBs per 100. Again, in the long run, you're going to be making less money because of rakeback and bonuses, and but your win rate's going to be twice as good. So by having a better win rate, it's going to make your play better, and your game's going to improve more quickly. When your game improves more quickly, you're going to be able to move up stakes more, and you're going to be able to be more profitable. So again, I think mass multi-tabling lends itself to autopiloting, and we fall into the same habits, and it prevents us a lot of the time from really improving, where playing less tables is really going to promote learning and getting better. Lastly, even if you usually play 6 tables, that doesn't mean you always have to play 6 tables or 8 tables or however many it may be. I find, especially when I start up a session, lately, tables tend to load a little bit more slower, especially on merge. But if I can get 6 tables up immediately going, a lot of the times, if I'm not in the groove yet, it seems like the action's moving very quickly and I may be missing stuff. So maybe I'll trim it down to 4 for the first 10 or 15 minutes just to, until I get my rhythm. And conversely, if I'm playing 8, maybe I'm playing 6 and I'm feeling very comfortable and I add 2 more tables, and all of a sudden things start to seem like they're moving quick again, and maybe not making the best decisions and whatnot, again, don't be afraid to cut it back to 6. Again, there's no shame in playing less tables and this idea that you have to be playing so many tables and getting in so many hands. And I find also that a lot of guys chase rakeback and bonuses by playing more tables, so at the detriment of their poker. So, they're like, ooh, I made X amount in rakeback and bonuses, but I lost money playing poker. Where, if you're playing less tables, yeah, you'd make less in rakeback and bonuses, but you'd be winning more at the tables, which ultimately at the end of the day, that's what it's about, and that'll lead to making more profits. Okay, here's another third very easy tip. Just fold. If you're unsure about what to do, just fold. Again, one of my, again, I mention this probably every other video. Again, great coach I have, one of the best coaches out there, in my opinion. He always used to say, it's better to make a tight fold too early than a marginal call too late. And this is so true. If we fold either pre-flop or on the flop, those are the small money streets, where the turn and river are the big money streets. So if we make a fold early, what are we really losing? Not much. Maybe a few big blinds or something like that. But if we, make a couple calls and then on the river we feel quote-unquote priced in or whatnot, or we call down, or we put ourselves in a spot where we have to make a call or whatnot, and we're wrong, all of a sudden this could cost us, 30 to 30 plus BBs, making a mistake. So especially if you're unsure of what to do in the spot, like I just said, instead of putting ourselves in marginal spots and tricky spots, just get out of the way. It's going to make your life a lot easier, and especially if you're not as sure on how to navigate situations and whatnot, it's going to create a lot more variance by playing spots here, playing marginal spots. So by folding, you're really going to reduce your variance. Also, lastly, with folding, it's a good way to improve your non-showdown winnings. Now, a lot of people might be scratching their head being like, improve my non-showdown winnings by folding? And yeah, because a lot of guys that, again, I speak with, or I thought, and I was very guilty of this too. I thought, to have a good, red line in non-showdowns, you need to be barreling and you need to get guys to fold. Where in reality, you have to be picking good spots for that. If you're barreling the flop and barreling the turn when a guy's range is very strong, and then, he calls both streets and you don't want to fire that third barrel and you check and he bets and you fold, that's going to kill your non-showdown, where if you just were to fold early or whatnot, maybe you're not going to put in those 2 bets. Again, that's an area where, again, especially the non-showdown, where I see people making marginal calls and then, maybe on the flop, they call on the flop, being like, well, I'll peel one, but really don't have a plan for the turn and river. So they peel one, and then when the second barrel comes, then they're just forced to fold, where they really didn't have that much equity and they probably shouldn't have been in the hand anyway. And again, that leads to a downward trending red line and losing non-showdown. Okay, change tables. This is another one that I hear from a lot of guys. Oh, most of the time it is this guy kept 3-betting me light, so then it turns out that they 4-bet him in a bad spot, or they, started opening wider or narrower, or whatever adjustment they made. And a lot of the times it's either not the proper adjustment, and they're telling me, oh, this guy's really tilting me, or oh, he's playing really aggressive, or oh, I don't know how to play against this type of opponent or whatnot. But I didn't want to just give up, or I didn't want to let him run me over. And again, it's that ego. Again, if there's a tough opponent to your left or at the table in general that's giving you problems, just change tables. That's the beautiful thing about online poker. There's always another table available. There are other options available. So just because the table you're on may appear to be good, maybe it's not good for you. Even if there's a weaker opponent to your right or something, if there's 2 very aggressive opponents who are re-isolating you, or who are constantly, the weaker opponent's opening, you're raising, or just, calling his bets, and then guys are 3-betting. And, again, a lot of people that students, especially at the microstakes, they get frustrated by this, and then that leads to tilt, and it leads to suboptimal play. If there's someone at the tables that's giving you problems that's not a good condition, just change tables. That's so simple. It's going to alleviate a lot of stress, and it's going to put you in a spot where you're not being forced to, make uncomfortable plays that you're not familiar with. And lastly, play shorter sessions. This is something that I've struggled with a little bit, because I used to like to play a lot of marathon sessions, 3, 4, even 5 hours at a time. In reality, again, working with my mental game coach, we've talked about how the average human can only fully focus and concentrate for an hour and a half, 2 hours max when making, constant decisions and such. And I used to be playing just recently. I've been playing 2 hour sessions because I was like, oh, I could play 2 hours. But after really doing a review of my database, reviewing how's it playing, I really found in the last half hour that my play was starting to deteriorate a little bit. So subsequently, I've shortened my sessions to an hour and a half. And the results, I've had very good results with that with my play, and I feel like I've been able to maintain a very high level of play throughout the entire session. What I do is I set a timer for 45 minutes. So I play, I have the timer, set it for 45 minutes. After 45 minutes, I kind of just do a little inventory and say, okay, my timer went off. How am I playing? Am I still focused? If I'm not, I refocus myself. If I am focused and I'm playing well, I just reset the timer for another 45 minutes and I will, and then I'll go from there once the timer goes off. In general, I've been really disciplined about keeping the sessions to an hour and a half. Unless the tables are just unbelievably good or something, then I'm not going to be staying on longer because, again, I find even so when I do that, it's like, oh, these tables are so good. And yeah, sometimes do I do okay? But again, the same problem that I find for me personally that my play begins to deteriorate. So that's why being disciplined is so important. And the thing you have to remember is you're with poker. There's always people at the table, and there's always gonna if you're table selecting well or looking for the weaker opponents, they're always gonna be at the tables. So you don't have to worry about you're gonna miss some big opportunity that's never gonna come. And again, unless it's something just an extraordinary opportunity where I don't know you're sitting on a few table with a few weaker opponents who are both deep or something like that. Again, be disciplined. Again, even if that means just taking a 15-minute break, getting out of your chair, using the bathroom, drinking some water, maybe taking a short, even if it's a walk around your house, apartment, around, whatever it is, that's going to be a real good way just to clear your head and allow you to refocus for your next session. All right, that's going to do it for this video. This is a short video. I hope that was helpful. Again, these are 5 easy tips that I feel that guys from anywhere from the experienced good player to the beginner can benefit from. And coming up, I'm gonna be putting together some videos again. I'm gonna do that final table video for Minted that I've been talking about for months of doing. And again, I'm gonna be doing the mental game warm up as well. Again, I'm waiting on a few promotional things before I do that one, but I'm excited to bring you that, and we'll go from there. This is Sebastian for RakebackDollars signing off.